Hi Fashionista fam, it's Nicole of Nicole Rachel Personal Stylist. Today I'm going to be recapping the looks from the Miss Universe Myanmar 2026 pageant, and these looks are in ascending order, meaning that I'll start with my least favorite look, number 12, and work my way up to my favorite look, which will be number 1. And I'm recapping the looks that the top 12 wore for the Miss Universe Myanmar 2026 pageant. And as per usual, if you like this kind of content, please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss an episode. And please, if you are a pageant contestant, make sure you check out my website. I'll put the link to my website in the description for this video and see which wardrobe styling service is right for you to take the stress out of wardrobe planning for a very important part of any pageant, the wardrobe. So without further ado, here is my list. There were a plethora of beautiful gowns that the top 12 wore for Miss Universe Myanmar 2026. There were a few that really stood out to me though, and hands down were my favorite. So I'll start with number 12. And I'm not gonna say any names because I don't want to butcher them, and I know I will. So with this gown, I liked the pink. I am a sucker for pink. It's one of my brand colors and one of my faves. And I like that it created, the way that the beading on the gown was placed in the center, it kind of created a 3D illusion. And it looked gorgeous. However, this looked more like a gown that you would wear for a banquet or a wedding. It didn't look like a pageant gown, and hence why I placed her at number 12. And she also seemed to have some trouble walking in it because at one point she did appear to trip in it. So that's something to look out for when participating in evening gown, is making sure that you can walk in the gown. Not that it just looks good, but that you practice walking in it and that there's enough room at the bottom to where you can walk freely and comfortably. So at number 11, I wasn't the biggest fan of this gown because of the bottom. I didn't really like the black at the bottom with all the silver star beading on that was over the black. To me, it was just too much. And the black looked kind of harsh too, especially up against the silver up at the top. It just didn't blend well. However, I did like the top of the gown, the bodice portion. It looked beautiful on stage and it suited her very well. And I love the scarf around the neck. It kind of gave me Marilyn Monroe vibes. And I like that she wore her hair in a slick back updo that really helped to bring all attention to the visual detail that she had going on with the scarf and the earrings and the bodice of the gown. At number 10, this gown was definitely more of a trendy look, and it had a lot of statement looking details that definitely caught my eye when she was on stage. The beading on the bodice was gorgeous and it shined beautifully and it enhanced her figure well. However, what I didn't like about this gown was the pointed ends on the sides of the bodice as well as around the hips. To me, it gave it more of a costumish look. At number 9, I really liked the green and gold combo in this gown. The colors really meshed very beautifully together, and the gown, because of the beading, looked beautiful on stage. However, it was a very safe option. We've seen this or variations of this gown plenty of times before. She wasn't bringing us anything new. And her walk, she seemed kind of hesitant, and the overcoat, while it was pretty, it made her walk look heavy because the overcoat itself looked heavy. So that's something to be mindful of, is making sure that when you do add accessories to your gown, it's not taking away from your gown and making you look like you're moving with some hesitation or difficulty, like it was the case with her. So number 8, this was another safe pageant gown that had a traditional pageant look. We have seen this gown or variations of it many times in other competitions. Despite it being safe, it did work to accentuate her figure, and given its straight and sleek cut, it worked to make her look long and lean. The cut of the bodice made her look snatched, and I like that the boa brought out the pink in the gown. Her hair and makeup perfectly complemented the look, and that is number 8. So number 5's She Shine Bright Like a Diamond on stage. It looked beautiful on the stage, and I really like how she paired it with the statement necklace. That was the comment I gave to the previous contestant. That would have really helped to have made her look stand out as well, and it really helped her in her case. And I like that she paired it with an updo, so that way all eyes and attention were on the detail of the statement necklace and her gown. And I like that the gown was fitted and kind of had a column silhouette, so it really enhanced her shape and made her look long and lean. And she seemed to walk with ease and a lot of grace and elegance in this gown. So number 4, this was a gown that we typically don't see in pageantry, but it worked and made her look unique and stand out because it's not a typical pageant gown. I really liked that it was one sleeve. That was a detail we often don't see in pageant gowns, and the gold looked beautiful up against her skin tone, and I love the beading, and the feathers at the bottom of the gown really helped to give her fluidity in her walk. So at number 3, I love the color combo on this gown. It was gorgeous. The beading combined with the vibrant colors worked well on stage. She looked almost like a mermaid due to the cut of the gown. I also liked the ruffles going down the front of the gown. Not only were they eye-catching, but the way they hugged her body gave her an hourglass shape. The ombre dazzled beautifully on stage and worked to set her apart from a very competitive evening gown round. So number 2's look was very simple yet elegant. It was breathtaking. I really loved the beading all throughout the gown. Very big oversized beads that really worked since this was a simple gown. And I like that she had teal on the sides of the bodice. That added a pop of color that really was eye-catching. And I like that she also paired it with the feather boa. It wasn't too much because of the color of the boa. It was white. It really flowed well with the gown, and the flawless updo with not a hair out of place was the perfect complement to this look, as well as the makeup. Her eyeshadow coordinated perfectly with the silver in the gown, so hence why I placed her at number 2. Number 1 was the winner of the night. This was one of the most fashion-forward gowns in the top 12. She's wearing a beaded silver column gown with a structured sweetheart neckline that beautifully frames the shoulders and her neckline. The horizontal crystal embellishments created incredible texture while also sculpting the waist and emphasizing her hourglass figure. What really made this gown memorable is the dramatic ombre mermaid hem. Instead of a traditional flare, the gown incorporated cascading layers that transition from silver into icy blue tones, giving the illusion of waves or cascading water. It's a unique detail that adds movement without overwhelming the clean silhouette. I also love the styling. The silver jewelry and the sleek, soft, curly hair complement the gown instead of competing with it. Against the backdrop of the stage, it really stood out. And it really was giving regal and luxurious. And the gown really relied heavily on texture rather than dramatic movement. So it really worked to help set her apart and make her stand out. So tell me in the comments section, what were your favorite looks from the top 12 for the Miss Universe Myanmar 2026 pageant? So that is all for today, and I will talk to you all later, and stay tuned for more episodes. Toodles!